Let's jump right into this. I want to explain if I had to start from zero, how would I grow a small account? And this is going to be very interesting considering that we have FINRA passing the new PDT rule. I mean, sort of, right? It has to go through the SEC first, but that would enable margin available to people with sub, I think it's going to be $2,000 minimum. So, you don't have to have that 25K minimum anymore. And this is huge. This is really, really big. So, $628 today. It was on SPRB, the really, really big move. We're going to kind of flip gears over here in a second and go to this screen. And I'll break down the trade I took and why. And then after that, I'm going to explain how you can literally prepare for this new change and how you can be successful in absolute best position to capitalize on it. So let's get right into the trade today that I took. So we took a trade on SPRB, like I said. This was the number one leading gainer in the market today. I mean, 1,600 and some percent at its peak. Ridiculous. And I kind of slept in through a little bit of pre-market this morning. I got up at like 8:30. I sent a couple alerts. Actually alerted this one at 21. I didn't get it myself just because I didn't feel fully ready to get into the market yet. And that would have been this right here, which is pretty ridiculous, man. So let's actually measure this out really quick. If we take this little measuring tool, so 21, if we assume, let's assume you get slippage. Let's go 22. 22.18, if you got like some weird slippage, right? That would have brought you up, if you played it perfectly, 68%. That's egregious. I mean, that's ridiculous. In 3 minutes? In 3 minutes. So I ended up missing that, which, it is what it is. I didn't trade it open, seemed way too risky. Saw this drop, saw that we kind of based out, started hooking up. So where did I trade it? Right here. So if we zoom in, you can see the MACD had opened. That's the only reason I took this trade. So the MACD crosses and has my attention. Literally in this candle, it starts to get my attention. Now, I saw that we had this big volume candle. We had this pullback, 9 EMA touch. Now I entered my position literally right here on this candle. And I sold right after the halt for a little drop. And it was pretty quick. I mean, the halt I think was only 5-minute halt. I think. I can't remember. But, it was super quick. And then I took another little trade on ONDMS. What is it? One Medical. I don't remember what it is. OMDS maybe. And, that was just a small like $40 trade because we're still working with the small account, so that was it. That was it. I mean, the only things that were confirmation was the 9 EMA, support there for the stop. It was easy to manage my risk. The volume had been ascending. The volume profile looked fantastic. The MACD opened. It gives you that little window for that pop. Boom, you're in, you're out. You make a bunch of money. One of the Discord members today made 34K on this stock because they bought the $21 alert and they just held it, which is, insane. But that's a brand new Toyota Camry off the lot. 34K in a day. That's awesome. And if you're a new viewer, join the Discord. In the description of this video, I'll have the invite link. You don't want to be missing out on what's going on in that community right now. Trust me. Let's get into how I would start to grow the account. Alright, so this might not be the most fun, stimulating video to watch, but if you really are serious, this is going to be huge. So, assuming that the SEC passes this new rule where you'll start with $2,000 for margin, right? That's insane. Your potential is going to grow so much if you take this serious, and I really, really hope you do. Because if I had this when I first started, everything would be different. So, what you're going to do is you're going to start a paper trading account with $2,500 because you're going to want a cushion. If you go in with 2,000 and you put 1,800 into a trade and you go down $200, you're going to get a margin call. They're going to liquidate your position and you're not meeting PDT now and you're going to get a margin call. And it's going to happen to a lot of people, but not you because you're watching this video. So, very simple. $2,000 paper trading account. You're going to take 2,500. So, we're going to go, you can do 3,000 as well. So either 2,500 or 3,000, but whatever's more realistic to you. If you can get your hands on 3K, perfect. Paper trade. And with paper trading, it's going to give you the margin ability to get in and out, in and out, in and out. And on Webull and maybe TradingView, you can use hotkeys to simulate your actual trading. Now, the only thing that where like your orders don't get filled quite perfectly, because in paper trading it's just going to be, instantaneous. You don't have an actual exchange of shares. So that shouldn't be an issue for you though, unless you're trading with huge size, like, over 20K per trade, but you're not going to be. So that'll be like the only thing that you lose is some of the psychological resistance when it comes to like mentally, you're in a trade, you're like, oh my God, I'm down money or whatever. And yeah, that's it though. Outside of that, you're good. So you're going to take $2,500 into a paper trading account. You're going to convince yourself that this is real money. You're going to convince yourself that you were gifted this money and now you have a chance to prove that you can do this. So what's the next step? Stay disciplined. That's it. Stay disciplined. I want you to convince yourself that it's real money and stay disciplined to a strategy. It doesn't even have to be my strategy, but make sure it's one that works. You want it to be an actual viable strategy. You can't be trading some bullshit because it's never going to work. Make sure it's proven to work. I trade Ross Cameron's strategy. He has like 2 million followers on YouTube. Go watch him. He's probably a much better teacher than me. So when you finish this up, go watch some of his tutorials, right? But that's a proven system. He's made over $20 million in verified trading profits with the strategy that I make all my money with. That's why I learned from him, not fucking TJR, okay? Brokerage statement from TJR. ICT is crack, in my opinion. So stay disciplined to the strategy with your $2,500 in your paper trading account. I want you to really focus on not associating a red day with being bad. And don't associate a green day with being good, because you can break your rules and still finish green. Believe it or not, you can go down a stock, say, I'm not going to use my risk management, and hold it and go green. That's not a green day. It's a green day on paper, but it's not a green day because you broke your rules. You didn't earn that money, and the market's going to take it back. And that's the reality. And here's the thing. If you can't take this serious and you're treating it like it's a paper account and not real money, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you when the time comes at all. It's going to do nothing for you, I promise. Make sure that you're treating this real. And if you blow up the account, sit down, have that conversation with yourself, and figure out why you blew up the account. Okay? Don't just go, blew up the account. It's the strategy. It's definitely, it has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with this computer. Yeah, it's my Wi-Fi. No. It's you every fucking time. So, real simple, guys. Figure it out. If you guys are making a mistake and you don't do something to learn and grow from it, you're not doing anything. You're never going to go anywhere. You're like staying in the same hole. At least take action. So, stay disciplined to the strategy. Do not associate a red day as being bad and a green day as being good. You're going to go off, did I follow my rules? Yes? Green day. Even if you're red on the P&L, because not everything goes perfectly according to plan. The next thing, set yourself a daily goal, whether that's up or down. And here's what I mean by this when I say this. If you're trading with $2,500, your daily goal, assuming that you're using $2,000 per trade, because you want to use your leverage, right? So let's say you're using $2,000, you're using that $500 just as a cushion so you don't get a margin call. Using $2,000 per trade, you should be able to reasonably make $100 a day. That should be your daily goal. So your daily goal of profit when you should walk away, unless the market's really hot and calling for more, should be $100 green. That should be your daily goal. And if you can do that, at the end of the month, you'll have $3,000. So there's nothing wrong with that. So here's what I want you to do. Set that goal, and then you need to have a max loss limit where you call it a day. Because when you have margin, it makes it so easy to just chase, right? Even if you go red, sometimes it's not going to go your way. And if you just spiral, you just have that negative spiral where you just keep chasing, you could dig this thing right down to like literally a margin call sub $400. You could do that. So you need to have a max loss. Set a max loss where you walk away, okay? And what should that max loss be? Assuming that you're using $2,500 and your daily goal is $100 until you get to like 3K, okay? So $100 green until 3K in the account. Then you should up it to like 200 or let's go 150. So then you should be looking to aim at 150 to 200. And this should grow with your account. Grow this with your account. If you're at a 10K account now, your daily goal should be 300, 350, right? So your max loss, have that set and follow it. If you hit it, you hit it, and you got to call it a day. Otherwise, you're going to revenge trade, you're going to make poor decisions, and you have to be able to recognize that. So, max loss, when you have your max loss be 150. Give yourself a cushion because you do have the ability to make it back with margin. When you, obviously, let's go until 3K again, then you can up it to $200 a day. And the reason that I'm having the losers as like an offset comparator, and you're essentially going to want to give yourself that cushion for taking a little bit more loss because A, you have more opportunities at bat with margin, and B, it's just good experience for you in this setting. Obviously, if this was real cash, you'd probably want to tighten those margins up just a little bit with, aiming for bigger green than red. But either way, every single trade that you're taking should be 2-to-1 risk reward. So this should not be a real problem for you unless it's just shit market conditions or a terrible mental spiral, which you're going to face, and then you can learn from and grow by journaling. So from there, the next step is going to be focusing on the reality of taking profit out of the account. So your first main goal is going to be to get to 5K. You should be able to do this within a month. If you are really dedicated to learning with the paper trading, you should be able to do this in a month, okay? So goal 1 in your account is hit 5K, okay? Really simple and should be relatively quick. You're just doubling your account. With margin, with strategy, with discipline, that's peanuts. So hit 5K. Then you're going to grow from there, and your wins should only get bigger. And your losses shouldn't really get much bigger because you're still maintaining tight, risk management. Goal number 2 is going to be hit 10K. And now at 10K is when we're going to start getting a little fancy. So at 10K is when you can start taking profits from the account. Fake profits, right? Take profits, assuming that you're doing this for, somewhat of a living, or maybe you're just making extra cash, right? So when you hit 10K, you can start having real returns. You can start making $600, $500, $1,000 in a day with that kind of leverage. And the thing that you're going to want to do is take like $2,000 out of that account at least once a month. So just reset your account back down a little bit and simulate, okay, I'm taking profits, and see if that affects you, right? Because when you're doing it with real money and you've done great for a month and you've grown all this money, you've grown from $2,500 to 10K in 1 month, right? And then you have to take some money out to pay for something you want, a couple bills, you owe someone money, you got to take money out, then, you can simulate what that's like. Are you going to be like, fuck, like my account's smaller, I feel like it was all for nothing? Or are you going to be right back on there and right back at it? Okay, so you have to simulate the real world and convince yourself that this is real money. And when the SEC passes this bill in December, or, likely in December, but in a couple months, you're just going to go right into this. And you're going to be experienced. You're going to be like, oh, I know what I'm doing, right? That's huge. That's so big. So, look, I get it. It's stressful because you're like, I just want to make money. I just want to make money. Paper trading seems like a fucking waste of time. Don't you think Kobe Bryant, LeBron James wanted to make money from basketball? They didn't just jump into an NBA game. You know what I'm saying? It was years and years of practice. So at least dedicate 2 to 3 months to just practice. And I'm not even saying that you can't trade your real money at the same time. You absolutely can. But if you really, really want to see this work, if you really want to see your life change from this, you don't just jump into the NBA game. or every shot you throw up, boom, it's getting denied. Every single shot. So this is your quick little tutorial on what I would do if I had to start over, knowing that FINRA just put this new rule in place, or, kind of set it on the shelf. So until the SEC at least says, okay, brokerages, you have the right to lower your PDT. And why else is this great? Because the market's about to become a lot more liquid. The market's about to become easier to trade because most people are going to see this new rule and they're going to think, oh yeah, and they didn't do this. They didn't prepare. So they're just going to keep getting fucking liquidated. But not you. So, like I said, if you are new, the link to the Discord in the description of this video. Go follow the TikTok. Almost at 10K. Sort of. We're getting there. And come learn. Dedicate some time. If you can do this, you don't have to work a job anymore. That's it. Thanks for watching.